Thank you. Senator Heinrich, you're on. Let me just state that in the shuffling that goes on between various Congresses, it appears that you are going to move up significantly into this chair, and so I welcome you to that. My understanding is the chairmanship now reverts back to the House, and it could be Mr. Teaberry, but we're not sure about that. But we're looking forward to your leadership here, but love to give you the chance here to talk to Chair Yellen, who
Thank you.
I would assume will be one of your key witnesses.
And Senator Coast, I just want to say how much a pleasure it's been to work with you both on this committee and also on the Intelligence Committee. Chair Yellen, I'm just going to jump into some questions because actually Senator Casey went really exactly where I want to go as well. The economy's come a long way in the last few years. It is certainly growing, but I think historically we've had this approach of if we can just make the economy grow, then a rising tide lifts all boats. And I at home hear from people. And we certainly saw, I think, the same sentiment in the recent election, that some of those boats just haven't been keeping up with the rest of us. And that is a fundamental problem with the quality of our economy. So things like wage growth, and particularly the seemingly broken link between productivity and wage growth, some of the lack of wage growth you can ascribe to skilled versus unskilled. But we've also seen this very divergent path where historically we were able to keep wages sort of tied to the same trajectory as productivity, and we've seen those split apart. Do you have thoughts for why that is and how we can, seek through vocational training or other policies to relink those things together for a broad swath of America that is simply not feeling the benefits of a growing economy or a rising stock market?
So productivity growth is important over the long haul to real wage growth, and it has been extremely disappointing over the last decade. But I also agree with the point that you just made that we've had periods in which real wage growth has not kept up with productivity growth. That's also true. One way of the data that shows that, if you look at the share of the pie, and here by pie I mean our gross domestic product, our output bundle of the economy, its division between rewards to labor and rewards to capital. That share was essentially constant for 100 years, and more recently we've seen an increase in the share of the pie going to capital. And that's consistent with real wages not keeping up with productivity. There is some research on that. The United States is not the only country that has seen that happen. I am not certain what the cause of it is, but I would agree with you that that is something that's happened. I think we're seeing a little bit of reversal of it now that the labor market is very tight and wages are increasing more rapidly. But even if wages were increasing in line with productivity, we do have the fact that we're seeing rising income inequality. We've been seeing that for a long time. A loss of middle-income jobs in the face of technological change and globalization that was probably accelerated in the aftermath of the financial crisis. So we have people who lost good jobs where they were earning good incomes, and even if they can find work, because after all, the unemployment rate is low and there are a lot of job openings.
But the
often
nature
they're
of those
not.
Jobs really changed.
The nature of the jobs have changed, and the incomes are, so they're taking large wage hits, and we're seeing the frustration that comes with that. And we just go back to the points I made in response to Senator Casey's comments. I believe there are lots of things that could be considered that's not in the domain of monetary policy, but there's structural policies, training, education, and safety net.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you answered some questions earlier that were really focused on mortgages and the tightening mortgage requirements. I wanted to sort of cut quickly to the chase there and just ask you fundamentally, do you think, I mean, we all agree that we weren't getting the balance right when the mortgage crisis occurred. And certainly we've seen stricter requirements, and in large part, we've seen some benefits from that. But do you think we've gotten that right? Have we gone too far in tightening mortgage requirements, or have we gotten the balance right coming out of the mortgage crisis of 2007?
So that's a hard question, and I don't think I can give you a
Short answer.
simple answer to that. I think it's appropriate that standards are tighter, but I think there are some groups for a variety of reasons that may be having an unduly difficult time in the aftermath.
Thank you, Chair.